Some time ago, I came out to myself about something that I previously had not acknowledged, which is my fascination with First Ladies. I didn't realize it until I had encountered a biography of a First Lady. I was on the streets at the time, but I encountered this biography, and I had a remarkable experience. And since then, it has really made me reconsider the role of First Lady, how important it is, and how important it's going to be when one day I find my first gentleman. In the meantime, it's also very important to acknowledge that each First Lady has their own very, very special contribution to the national destiny of the country they represent, as well as lessons for leadership, regardless of whether it's the president or the First Lady or gentleman, or sundry other kinds of arrangements. I'm going to read a short excerpt from a book I was able to acquire today, a memoir by Barbara Bush. The next night, George and I had planned two events in the residence for the same time. I was having a small reception for the Barbara Bush Foundation for Family Literacy Corporate Committee, a group made up of corporate CEOs and headed by Red Poling of Ford Motor Company and Martin Davis of Paramount. George was having a group coming for a light supper, and then they were going to see the Ford's theater production of The Black Eagles. George generously suggested that we join forces, which made for an absolutely fascinating evening for me and my guests. We gave them all a drink and sat in a semicircle in the yellow oval room. George's group included the Supreme Court Justice David Souter, Air Force Chief of Staff General Merrill McPeak, and Dr. Benjamin Payton, president of Tuskegee University. George first thanked my group of CEOs for all the help they had given to the foundation and said that I had reported they were doing a superb job. We then talked about the economy and the Persian Gulf. George asked General McPeak to tell us about the surgical bombing and other aspects. I took a chance and said, quote, "You know, General, my husband is under tremendous pressure from his 4 sons. They all say, 'Tell him you're going to bomb all bridges and hotels where you know they have strategic equipment and communications. Give them a set of hours and then do it.'" End quote. I was fascinated, for Ben Payton spoke up and said that he agreed with our sons. Then the others joined in too. I really do think that's what most Americans were feeling. I was one of those women that was not able to be fully availed of the advantages of Barbara Bush's efforts at literacy for women, or later First Lady Laura Bush's efforts at education and women's rights. It can be very, very significant when people do not honor the contributions that First Ladies have to make to their nation. Some of those contributions last beyond their lifetime. The children might hear you. They might hear. They might see. And years later, many, many years later, they might remember. This is why it's very important. When you run for office, or when you're choosing who's running for office, you're not just choosing the candidate. And if somebody had a candidate, or a first lady or gentleman, and somebody tried to take them out in order to deprive the people of those very special contributions, then that also is a matter for significant consideration.